Angela Rayner has lit the fuse on one of the most contentious decisions of her political career. The usually quiet village of Ulnes Walton in Lancashire is now in open revolt after Rayner signed off on the construction of a super prison that will overshadow their lives, literally and figuratively. With plans for 3 sprawling facilities to house 3,800 inmates, villagers are bracing for a future where they will be outnumbered by prisoners nearly 2-1. Adding to the firestorm, Nigel Farage has taken a swipe at Keir Starmer, questioning why Labour released over 1,000 prisoners during their last time in government.
Well, it was phase 2 of the early prisoner release scheme, with 1,100 prisoners being released from jails all around the country, having served approximately 40% of their terms. Drug dealers, burglars, people like that. All of this was explained in the House of Commons by Shabana Mahmood, the Justice Secretary.
The crisis in our prisons was, I believe, the greatest disgrace of the last Conservative government. They left our prisons on the point of collapse, a situation that would have forced us to close the prison doors, cancel all trials, and force the police to halt their arrests. Crime would have gone unpunished, victims would never have seen justice done, and we would have witnessed the total breakdown of law and order. The former Prime Minister knew he had to act. His Lord Chancellor begged him to do so, but instead he called an election.
Angela Rayner's greenlighting of this project has sent shockwaves through Ulnes Walton, a village known more for its serene countryside than its capacity for controversy. For years, the area has been home to 2 existing prisons, HMP Weymouth, with 1,170 inmates, and HMP Garth, holding 845. These facilities have already stretched local infrastructure to the limit, with narrow roads accommodating 2,500 vehicle movements daily. Now, with the addition of a new Category C facility housing 1,700 more inmates, the strain on the community will be unbearable. For residents, this is not just a case of "not in my backyard," it's about the irreversible transformation of their village and the blatant dismissal of their concerns. The Ulnes Walton Action Group, led by locals like Paul Parker and Helen Williams, has been fighting the plans tooth and nail since 2020. Their battle seemed to gain traction when a government planning inspector recommended rejecting the proposal in 2021, citing significant risks to road safety and the detrimental impact on the Greenbelt. However, Angela Rayner's decision to override the inspector's advice has left the community feeling betrayed. Dave Williams, a long-time resident whose home borders the current prison facilities, is particularly furious. "From my house, I'll have a big guard building and a 5-story accommodation block to look out to," he lamented, gesturing toward the 107 acres of green fields set to become prison grounds. "We've been ignored. It's as if our voices don't matter." Traffic and infrastructure are at the heart of the village's objections. Paul Parker explained the current chaos caused by the existing prisons. These roads weren't built for this kind of volume. They're narrow country lanes used by walkers, cyclists and families. Now we're expected to handle twice the traffic. It's dangerous and unsustainable. And that's just during regular operations. During construction, Parker warns, the disruption will be even worse. "We're talking about piling rigs, cranes, and heavy-duty construction vehicles clogging our lanes for years. It's going to destroy the village." Despite promises of economic benefits, residents are sceptical. The government touts the project as a £300 million investment that will create 120 construction jobs. However, as Lynette Morrissey of the Action Group points out, only 10% of those jobs will go to locals. That's 12 jobs, hardly worth the cost to our community. The government also claims the new prison will be a model for rehabilitation, with a focus on helping inmates reintegrate into society. But Helen Williams argues that the location undermines this goal. "We're in the middle of nowhere. There's one bus service that runs hourly. How are inmates supposed to access work programs or reintegration opportunities? It's ridiculous." What's more, the village's limited amenities, consisting of a corner shop, a garage, an equestrian centre and a garden centre, hardly provide a suitable environment for rehabilitation. "They're setting these inmates up to fail," Williams adds. "Rehabilitation works best when inmates can access real jobs and communities, not when they're isolated in the middle of nowhere." While the Ulnes-Walton Action Group has emphasized their support for prisoner rehabilitation, they argue that this location is fundamentally unsuitable. Their fight is not about rejecting prisons outright, but about ensuring they are placed where they can achieve their purpose without destroying local communities. As the scandal brews, Angela Rayner is facing criticism on multiple fronts. In a weekend interview, she stumbled through a series of questions about Labour's housing plans and immigration policies. Her contradictory statements about whether the UK has enough housing to accommodate 2.5 million expected migrants sparked a backlash online. Critics labelled the interview a car crash, with one social media user quipping, "Angela Rayner doesn't just fail to reassure, she actively confuses." The timing couldn't be worse for Rayner. While her government struggles to manage growing discontent, Reform UK, led by Nigel Farage, is seizing the moment. The insurgent party has overtaken Labour in recent polls, sending shockwaves through Westminster. Elections guru Sir John Curtis has predicted that Reform UK's grassroots strategy could deliver a political earthquake in the next general election. Farage himself has wasted no time attacking Labour's record on crime and punishment, linking the super prison controversy to broader failings in their leadership. Why did Labour release over 1,000 prisoners during their last time in government? Farage demanded during a recent interview. And now they're building prisons in places where they're not wanted. This isn't just bad policy, it's bad politics. Meanwhile, the Ulnes-Walton Action Group is preparing for what could be their final stand. They have 6 weeks to file a legal challenge in the High Court, and many residents are pinning their hopes on this statutory review to stop the project in its tracks. In a bid to make their case directly, the group has invited Angela Rayner to visit the site. "We're asking her to come here and see for herself why this decision is wrong," Parker said. "This isn't just about a prison, it's about protecting a community." Whether Rayner accepts the invitation remains to be seen, but one thing is clear. This issue is not going away anytime soon. With local residents digging in their heels and national politicians weighing in, the battle over Ulnes-Walton has become a flashpoint in Britain's wider debates over governance, community rights, and the future of rehabilitation in the justice system. The stakes are high, not just for the village of Ulnes-Walton, but for Angela Rayner, Keir Starmer, and the Labour Party. Will the voices of a small community prevail against the machinery of government? Or will this super prison become a lasting symbol of political overreach and broken trust? One thing is certain. The fight for Ulnes-Walton is just getting started. What's your take on this super prison scandal? Do you think Angela Rayner made the right call, or has Whitehall gone too far this time? Be sure to hit that subscribe button, like this video, and share your thoughts in the comments below. We're just getting started with this explosive story, so stay tuned for more updates.